Jeremy, thanks so much for being a part of the Savant team, coming up now in 30 days. So you are one of the youngest members of our team.
Right.
But what is it like compared to the other places you've worked, whether it be here in the state of Georgia or your hometown of Boston?
Well, it's night and day. At the other places that I've worked, the one that I just came from, I was there for over 4 years, or almost 4 years, and there was a red tape for everything. You couldn't feel as though you could take care of the client without, going through, 3 different, supervisors or red tape or anything like that. Coming here, working with Stephen, him and I have such a similar mindset, do what we can to take care of the clients. We'll deal with everything else after.
Jared O'Brien, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
You've been here for a month and a half or a year and a half?
A year and a half.
Okay, excellent. A year and a half now. So you've come from other businesses, other operations. Tell me and tell our listeners exactly what is the main difference from working at another company versus Savant?
Working at Savant has been incredible. The people here are what makes Savant so strong. The daily interactions I have with clients just goes to show how much we all get along together and how well we all work together. If it seems intimidating at first, just know that you're in good hands and that the people around you want what's best for both you and the company. So, if you're struggling a little bit, you can feel free to reach out to other people and know that they have your best interests at heart as well as theirs. So, never really feel like you're in it alone. Know that there are always people around there to help you.
Dylan, you've been with us now for a little over 90 days, and you've worked in many locations throughout the state of Georgia. Tell us a little bit about what's it like working at Savant now versus the other places that you've been employed.
Wow, the openness, there's not so much rigidness, I don't feel as closed off. It's really nice because I can go to anyone's office and talk to them. If I've got an issue, I can go to my boss, I can go to the boss over the top of my boss. The openness is really what I like the most.
Any last words for anybody listening about coming to work for Savant?
The sky's the limit.
So that is the question. You've worked at other places. How much have you had a voice at your other opportunities versus at this company?
It is night and day. I used to own a business and I gave all of my employees a voice. I used to say, I'm going to give you every tool to be successful, but very seldom found that a company welcomes the voice of the smallest. It doesn't matter where you are on the scale with Savant. I just don't think there is a scale at Savant.
Well, Chris, thank you for joining us.
No problem.
You've been with us a little over 2 months. And you obviously have worked at other jobs.
Several.
But in your experience, tell us some main differences that you have here working at Savant compared to where you've been before in your career.
So, big difference is I actually feel like I'm in a career now. All my other jobs were jobs.
So, in the security department where you work, what are some of the best things working for Donnie?
You can tell he cares. I've had a lot of managers who just kind of go to your job, leave me alone, don't bother me. There's issue, Don will come running, help me out with it.
So Luke, you've been here at the company for nearly 90 days. What's it like working at the company? And then really, I think the question most people want to know is what's it like having to deal with Lee and Jimmy? But that's the second part of the question.
Savant, honestly, the easiest way to say it's the best job I've ever had. I've worked at a lot of different places and a lot of different job opportunities. I've worked at hotels, I've worked in sales, I've worked in all kinds of different things, but at this company, the first thing that jumped out to me immediately is that I felt that I was a part of a bigger picture. Even being like the smallest rung on the totem pole is what it felt like to me.
You've been at the company now for just over 3 months. You're probably one of our seasoned individuals at the company.
A little bit, yeah.
It's a nice way of saying old. But in all the other places that you've worked, how would you consider your employment at Savant different?
It's been a lot different. I used to be in the Army, so it was a complete sea change. It's been great though. The team is just like it used to be in the Army as far as everybody works together, everybody's cohesive, gets along, everybody tries to push for your self-development, improvement, and promotion.
Dylan, at your review, you had a chance to share the difference in culture here at Savant versus where you were before. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, when I first started here at Savant, it was really eye-opening to go from a work culture where nobody seemed to really care to a work culture where it was basically one big family.
And I really did feel like when I first started, I was immediately a part of that family.
So Jim, you've been at the company now for nearly 6 months.
Yeah.
And recently we were talking in your review, and you said a number of things that resonated with me about taking this position and the things you've learned when you were here in this short amount of time. Can you tell us exactly what you said?
Sure. The first thing that really strikes me is that I was not expecting this to be this organic place. I was not expecting this to be a home.
So when you took this opportunity, you didn't know of the culture or
Correct.
the environment. Compared to where you've been before, what are the most glaring parts and the differences, good and bad?
Some of the best differences that I've had over past areas is still that communication. Where here it is a smaller group, and I feel that because of that, you're able to grow, you're able to have a voice, and they actually listen.
In your first 4 months here at working at Savant, what do you find to be the biggest differences at this organization versus other places that you've worked?
So one of the other places I work was the Army. I don't have to get up at 4 in the morning to start my day and then end it whenever I get to end it. That's what I would say the best thing about it. The other place that I worked at was sort of set my own hours and work whenever there was work. And I like having something to do every day, which is why Savant is a great place to work.
Maria, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
You've been here for about 2.5 months, coming up on your 90 days, so
Yep.
you're one of the newer employees at the company. And it was unique because you started in a different department
Yep.
and you saw opportunity. What is the main difference working here at Savant versus at another company, that if you were to start in a different position, would you have the flexibility to relocate through within the organization of a new
I
company?
feel like it, yeah. But my old company wasn't like that at all, and they also, the difference that I really saw here was that I feel like you guys actually care about us, and you do events for us and stuff. Like my old job didn't even have a Christmas party every year, and they never did anything. So that was the first thing I noticed, was just how I felt cared for.
So you guys have been leaders in the community, and we've been listening to a lot of the other employees and team members talk about their leadership and how much they appreciate it. John, what would you say about Eric's leadership that you like the most?
The most, Hilliard is a very friendly face.
Speak carefully.
Open to everyone. Anyone can go and talk to him without any issues
How
at
about the
all.
least, John?
The least is if you say anything that Hilliard disagrees with.
Nope.
You can no longer have the conversation.
No. Nope. It's beautiful. Doesn't go that way.
Hilliard, how about John? What are the things that you think the staff and the culture like the most about John?
For John, I would say it's definitely going to be his empathy. He's pretty empathetic towards everybody, so he allows everybody to get away with whatever they want. So they love that.
What about the least?
It's either going to be the fact that his pants are bought from the women's section, or he just has to wear a hat all the time. He can't not wear his own hat.
With all members of the staff, I mean, it doesn't feel like staff. It never has.
It feels like your family.
It
like you said.
really does.
Thank you, Jeannie.
You're very
for
welcome.
So when John and Eric are alone together at night, what really happens? Porter, what would be David's best quality for leading this team to the next decade?
Just his general shit attitude.
John's pants aren't big enough to fit anything
Yeah, I
in
know.
his pockets.
The other way.
It's literally not big enough.
Something's
His
happening.
pockets aren't big.
But I don't know if you're aware that this moment today, because of the flight that you missed, we're actually going to fire you from the company.
Oh no!
Gets our paychecks, and bye-bye.
Oh my
It's clipping on the back.
Just clip the clip.
Okay,
to
okay.
it. So the fun part is no one knows you're not wearing any pants.
That's
Is that
correct.
right?
Yeah,
Yes, excellent.
It's also fun for me.
You're hired again. We were just joking. How about your least favorite person, Dave?
Yeah, that's here. Just let me kind of
That's better.
just get, is that better?
That's-
I think that works. Go forward. Just gonna real quick, right there.
Hey, you know what? Stephen and Judd, thanks for joining us today. Judd's out of frame again. Can you get him a seat? Hey, Judd and Stephen, how you doing? So, guys.
Sorry.
That's all right. How you doing? So, what is the biggest challenge of working with family?
He doesn't know how to shut the fuck up.
What are you talking about?
You just run your mouth constantly.
Yeah.